Week 1 was absolutely wild, and we're here to help guide you through the week that was and look forward to week number 2. I know you're ready to get back after it, and, after 1 week in the books, we kind of have a little bit more clarity on how teams want to operate, who's their number 1, number 2, number 3 guys, and who needs to be thrown out of all of our optimizers, all right? Who are we going to avoid at all costs, and who are we putting into our lineups? My name is Bradley with DoublySports, and this is our Sleepers, Studs, and Stacks for Week 2 of the 2020 NFL season. Now, primarily, this is intended for Draftkings, but a lot of followers use it for other DFS platforms, whether it be Fanduel, Yahoo, or just fantasy football in general. Let me know down in the comments if you're coming back and what you use it for. You know, we pride ourselves on transparency and trying to help the average or passive player get an advantage every single week of the NFL season. Make sure you hit that like button and give a thumbs up for good luck this week. You're almost guaranteed to do well just for giving a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel at any point if you enjoy the content. Support for today's episode of Sleeper Studs and Stacks is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. I'm telling you right now, Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They really do obsess over their technology to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. And later on, I'm going to tell you how you can save 20% on your next order and get free shipping. It's enough rambling. Time to get to the recap and see what we did wrong in week 1. Of course, we have to start out with the good, okay? Christian McCaffrey, 28.4 DraftKings points. Devontae Adams at 44 points, Russell Wilson, Logan Thomas, DK Metcalf we mentioned in last week's video, Raheem, 25 points from San Francisco, had an amazing game, and Alvin Kamara. We mentioned all of these guys in last week's video, except for Devontae Adams. We mentioned him over on Patreon, patreon.com/DoublySports. We put out our starting 5 each and every week, and we mentioned him as our starting wide receiver that we were locking into our main lineup. That was the good part of Patreon, but we're always going to be 100% honest. We had some bad. We also said Boston Scott was going to be in our lineup. He only put up 7.4 points. T.Y. Hilton, one of the guys that I was solo championing here on all the YouTube DFS providers. T.Y. Hilton only put up 9.3 points. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, a lot of people got wrong. And then finally, Mark Ingram, 2.9 DraftKings points. Unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins did get to vulture those goal line carries. All right, time for the good stuff. Looking forward to week 2, it is our sleepers. And these sleepers, once again, are our low-priced guys under $5,500, which is a lot harder this year, I got to be honest, that we think can fit into your lineup and get a good return on your investment. It might be because of the injuries to the starters, bad defense, DraftKings came out with the pricing too early, but this allows you to get more upper echelon players into your lineup. This week, those wide receivers, the price looks pretty good, but those running backs are still sky high. Hopefully, we can find you some sleepers here to allow you to have room with your wallet. We're going to start things off with Melvin Gordon at $5,200 against Pittsburgh. Now, if Phillip Lindsay is out, obviously that means an increased workload for Melvin Gordon. Plus, he does see a good amount of targets from the backfield. It continued over from Los Angeles here to Denver. Pittsburgh, I'll be honest, Pittsburgh did shut down Saquon Barkley on the ground, but they have a brand new offensive line in New York. Denver's offensive line is a little bit better. I don't expect Melvin Gordon to have a massive day, but because of those targets out of the backfield, it could be an interesting play. Darius Slayton at $5,000 against Chicago. Now, he led the Giants wide receivers in targets week 1 from Daniel Jones, and Chicago gave up the 28th most pass yards week 1 at 288 yards to Detroit. Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback. Daniel Jones isn't a great quarterback. But because so much attention is paid to shutting down Saquon Barkley, I think that opens up things on the outside. Darius Slayton is a big play kind of wide receiver, and at only $5,000, I love volume. If he gets another 8 targets this week, I'm happy with that. Jerry Jeudy, $4,900 against Pittsburgh. I already mentioned earlier, Pittsburgh was shutting down the run week 1 against the Giants. If they do that, it opens things up on the outside. We've mentioned that. 8 targets week 1. He had 2 bad drops, and that wasn't something we got used to seeing in college from Jerry Jeudy. I don't think that's going to be the same. If Cortland Sutton is out again week 2, Jerry Jeudy at $4,900 is an excellent play. CeeDee Lamb, $4,700 against Atlanta. It's in a great spot. Blake Jarwin unfortunately goes down, but that opens up a lot of targets that are going to be coming over the middle of the field. He caught 5 of 6 targets in week 1. In a game that's probably going to be a shootout, the Cowboys willing to throw the ball going up against Atlanta, I think CeeDee Lamb could be in for not only 6, 7 targets, but maybe 8 or 9 targets. If you can get 6 catches out of him, that would be amazing. Logan Thomas at $3,600 against Arizona. You hear a lot of people talking about him. We featured him in Patreon too, patreon.com/DoublySports to get our starting 5. We locked him in along with Jack Doyle as our 2 tight ends that we mentioned. $3,600, still not enough. Former basketball player is going to go up and get the ball, not afraid to get hit. Team high 8 targets week 1, only 4 receptions, but one of them for a touchdown, and 13 points. If 13 points at $3,600, we're very, very close to our 4 times a return on the investment. Again, for every $1,000 spent, the goal is to get 4 points. If you're doing that, that is 200 points on your team. So he could easily repeat that performance this week against Arizona, a team that has always struggled against the tight end. Curtis Samuel, $4,700 going up against Tampa Bay. Now, if you watched our NFL picks video, you'll know that I said Tampa Bay's defense was not very good, and I'm starting to take that back. They're not great. We'll give them that. They're not great, but they have a really good front 7 that gets after the quarterback. The Panthers have always had an issue with an offensive line, and I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to get rid of the ball quick and often this week. What does that mean? Curtis Samuel in the slot. I don't know if Robbie Anderson will have time to get down the field before pressure is in Teddy Bridgewater's face. I think Teddy B throws it again early and often. More DJ Moore, more Curtis Samuel this week. Last week, 8 targets, only 4 receptions. He had a few bad drops trying to catch the ball to his body rather than using his hands to catch it. I think Teddy B is going to have trust in him and go back his way. $4,700, trying to keep up with that Tampa Bay offense. And more to watch. J.K. Dobbins, $5,100 against Houston. Again, stole those goal line carries in Baltimore. Nyheim Hines, $5,300 against Minnesota, who is absolutely banged up on defense and was eaten alive by Green Bay in week 1. I expect the Colts are able to put up some points there. Malcolm Brown, $5,700 against Philadelphia. Some really good goal line carries from the Los Angeles Rams. Malcolm Brown running back there. And Benny Snell Jr., $4,500 against Denver if James Conner is out. That's an interesting one to watch. Now our studs. And again, these are those upper echelon players that you need to have in your lineups. Seeking that 4 times points per $1,000 spent is a lot harder to do on a $10,000 player than it is to do for a $4,000 player. So you got to be very choosy with these ones. Ezekiel Elliott, $8,200 against Atlanta. New weapons means spreading the field. It's no longer going to be a loaded box when you face the Cowboys. You have Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup out there. That means, in my opinion, quality touches over quantity of touches. Sure, he's still going to be running the rock, but I look for better opportunities when he does touch the ball. Amari Cooper, same game. $6,500, absolutely a bargain. 14 targets in week 1. Shootout possible. I think it's the highest game on the slate. Atlanta gave up 300 passing yards to Seattle week 1. What makes you think Dallas isn't going to be able to do that with their weapons? Amari Cooper, $6,500, almost seems like a lock. Juju Smith-Schuster going up against Denver. He had 2 easy touchdowns in week 1, and I'm happy that Big Ben is looking his way. He seems to be happy. Only had 3 touchdowns in all of 2019. Able to pick up 2 in week 1. You know Juju's happy. You know he's happy to be looking at him in the red zone. $6,500, an interesting watch. Devontae Adams, $8,100 against Detroit. Now, this really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, right? Detroit was dead last in passing yards giving up last year. Okudah still might be nursing the leg injury. At the time of recording, they haven't really given an update. They're kind of avoiding giving an update for Jeff Okudah, who is supposed to come and help out those cornerbacks. Well, if he's not there, you're not helping what was already the worst pass defense in the league. Or one of the worst pass defenses in the leagues in terms of yardage. Devontae Adams going up against Detroit, yeah, that's a lock, especially if Okudah is not there. Now another running back, Derrick Henry, $7,900 against Jacksonville. So he took on all 31 carries in week 1. Darrington Evans, their backup running back that they took in the draft, nursing a little bit of a hamstring issue. They were 27th against the rush in 2019. Against the Titans, one of the best rushing teams in the league. I don't think you're going to be able to slow that down. Derrick Henry, 7,900. Teams still aren't used to tackling. Good luck stopping Derrick Henry. Kyler Murray, 6,100, might be my favorite quarterback play of the week, going up against Washington. To go on top of already having some amazing weapons in Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds. Now you have to deal with Kyler Murray, the runner. No one expects him to put up another 91 yards in week 2, but if you're getting 4 or 5 rushes for 40 yards, that's a huge bonus. Kyler Murray, 6,100, way underpriced. In that same game for more to watch, Kenyon Drake, 5,900 going up against Washington. Listen, I get that Washington defense looks strong, but the wide receiver threats that you have now, having to pay attention to DeAndre Hopkins, I think it opens things up for Kenyon Drake, especially if Arizona does get ahead early. Kenyon Drake, just feed him the ball if that happens. Please, I'm begging you. Josh Allen going up against Miami, who gave up what feels like 300 yards of rush offense week 1. Cam Newton had his way with them using his legs. I expect a lot of the same for Josh Allen. T.Y. Hilton, redeem yourself, $5,700 against Minnesota. Please redeem yourself. Minnesota was eaten alive last week. Please repeat that performance for me. Raheem, again, $6,400 against the New York Jets. I think that's too cheap for the San Francisco run game. And then finally, Will Fuller, $6,300 against Baltimore. In the past, it's been boom or bust for Will Fuller. DeAndre Hopkins is gone. He is the number 1 guy. He is the number 1 target share. It's no longer boom or bust. He actually has a volume composition to his game. Will Fuller, $6,300. Baltimore's going to score points. The Texans will have to keep up. That ball's got to go somewhere. I'm envisioning it, as well as many others, that Will Fuller will be the man on the receiving end. And finally, the most important stud of the week. I'm talking about you, boss. That's right. And just for watching our sleeper studs and stacks, we're getting you the hookup with a special 20% off and free shipping. Listen, Manscaped knows the pains you go through all season long, keeping your playing field in top shape. No one wants to play on an overgrown field, nor does anyone want to play where it's cut too deep when you're cleaning things up, if you know what I mean. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team literally spent 18 months perfecting the greatest trimmer ever created, and they just released their new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's their 3rd generation trimmer, which features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Very important, thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. So if you have a big job to handle, don't worry about it. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer, safer shave. One of my favorite features is the LED light, which illuminates my grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. So if you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code Doubly. That's DOUBLY, code Doubly at manscaped.com. Now our stacks. These are the 3-player builds that get you a good foundation for the week ahead. For instance, if you think Kyler Murray is going to have a good week, his wide receivers in DeAndre Hopkins or Kenyon Drake are probably going to have a good game as well. Starting things off with the Dallas Cowboys. I already mentioned that it's going to be a shootout versus Atlanta. You can also look at the other side of the ball of Atlanta if you'd like. Dak, Ezekiel Elliott, and way too cheap Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. All of these guys are too cheap in my opinion. Zeke, barely a hair too cheap. But for the most part, you can get these guys for a little bit of a bargain. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals versus Washington. Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake, far underpriced. There's no reason Kyler Murray, after his performance last week, shouldn't be one of the top 10 priced quarterbacks on the slate. DeAndre Hopkins, his price is pretty fitting, so it'll be a steep climb, but you can offset some of those, obviously, if you pick up some of the sleepers or lower valued guys. Lastly, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben, whoever their running back is, whether it's James Conner or Benny Snell. Obviously, if it's James Conner, you might have a little bit of a worry how he's going to come back with that ankle injury. But no real doubt, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be a great play this week against Denver. And our defenses. We're looking for turnovers and sacks. That's always the key for a good defensive performance. Number one, we're going to start with Buffalo at $3,900 against the Miami Dolphins. Pittsburgh, $3,800 against the Denver Broncos. And Arizona versus Washington. I think there's going to be a few points put up in this game. Washington's offense, not great. I look for Arizona to capitalize on some turnovers. And then if you want another play, I'm not going to put it on here because it breaks my heart. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rushing ability against the Carolina Panthers. Wouldn't be surprised to see 3 or 4 sacks for that team, as well as that creating a couple of turnovers. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please connect with me. Leave a comment down below, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed any of the content that we've provided. Get ready for our game picks coming out again on Thursday. Hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/DoublySports or at Brad M. Lee. Instagram at Doubly. I'm always following people back on Instagram. If I haven't followed you back, just shoot me a DM, let me know, and I will absolutely follow you back. Facebook.com/DoublySports. We're posting news all weekend long, as well as our starting five will come out 30 minutes prior to kickoff. It comes out for free on Facebook, but our patrons get it first. Patreon.com/DoublySports for our starting five coming out this Friday. We're going to be doing stuff all season long. Thank you so much for watching our Week 2 episode of our Sleepers, Studs, and Stacks. Hopefully the next time that I see you is in the green.